Hey, what's up everybody? So this is my first official vlog. What I wanted to do for quite some time now is start a little bit of a fitness vlog. I want to put up YouTube videos, Facebook live videos, you know, all sorts of social media, Snapchat, whatever, just talking about my fitness journey. And at first what I had decided to do is I was going to start posting stuff once I've already reached the body that I want to reach eventually, you know, the physique, I guess is the proper term. But instead what I figured might be more useful to most people is if I instead just document my journey. I was actually just listening to Gary Vee, who's I think it's Gary Vaynerchuk. He's a pretty popular entrepreneur, very successful guy that puts out a lot of social media stuff. A lot of it's very motivating, and that's why I listen to it. One thing he talked about is, he said, don't talk about what you've done, just make sure that you document the process, and people can get a lot more out of that. So if this ends up helping somebody, you know, this journey that I go through, then great. If not, then maybe I can just look back at it a little bit, you know, down the road and figure out what worked for me, what didn't, as I go through this fitness journey. So just a quick summary, I graduated school about 11 months ago, and I had always been pretty fit. When I was 5 years old, my dad put me in martial arts, and I've been doing that for most of my life. But I was studying a pretty tough major. I did an engineering degree, and the last couple of years I completely stopped working out. I stopped eating, you know, right, and exercising and all that. And so what happened is I put on a little bit of extra weight. It wasn't crazy. The most that I got up to was about 215. Ideal weight for me is probably about 180, 185. That's what I want to walk around at. And so what I did is I ended up cutting down, losing a little bit of weight, and I got down to probably around 15% body fat. I weighed 180. I did that over the course of 4 months, and then I ended up doing a crazy bulk, which was kind of stupid of me, and ended up bulking back up all the way to 215 in a period of about probably 5-6 months. And I think what ended up happening is, at most that I could have put on is probably about 10 pounds of muscle. That's at maximum, anywhere probably between 5 and 10 pounds of muscle during that time period. And the rest of that 35 pounds that I put on is all fat. So that's kind of been my journey these last 10 months, is, you know, cut down with, you know, I was pretty lean, my six-pack was showing, but had very little muscle on me, and then I ended up bulking, and I ended up gaining a whole bunch of fat. Basically, I'm learning about it as I go. One person that's been a huge mentor to me is Mr. Luis Pena. He works with Transform Fitness. He's been a great coach and mentor, and just kind of showing me the little tips and tricks, and I'm learning from him on a daily basis. One thing that he told me that I shouldn't do is I shouldn't do a crazy bulk, because I was going to put on a whole bunch of fat. Actually, he said, you're going to blow up like a balloon. Well, I didn't listen to him, so I ended up blowing up like a balloon. Anyways, I'm not going to be too hard on myself. Like I said, I'm just trying to learn and just trying to get better. So one thing I'm currently doing is I'm about 5 weeks into my cut. I've been losing consistently about 3 pounds a week for the last, you know, 4 or 5 weeks or so. And I'm feeling really good. I'm gonna slow down that rate of loss. I don't know, most of it's fat, I'm hoping. I think I am burning a little bit of muscle, which I'm trying to prevent. I'm gonna slow down that rate just a little bit. I wanna do about 2.5 pounds a week from this point forward. Just because I think that 3 pounds is a little bit too much. So the way that I'm doing that is I'm doing intermittent fasting. What intermittent fasting is, for you guys that might not know, is intermittent fasting is you basically split up your day into 2 windows. You have a 16-hour window and about an 8-hour window. You can also do like a 18-hour window and a 6-hour window. There's multiple ways to do it. You can kind of experiment and figure out what works for you. That's kind of what I'm doing currently. So basically, I'm currently not eating, so I'm fasting for about 16 hours a day, and I'm eating only 8 hours a day. So the way that my day typically looks is I get up around 4 a.m. and then I don't have my first meal till around noon or so, and then my last meal of the day is around 8 p.m. The whole purpose of intermittent fasting is to just cut down the amount of calories that you eat. So by taking breakfast out of the equation, kind of struggling through the morning, you take out one meal out of the equation, which, you know, probably reduces your daily intake of calories to about by about 400 or 500, you know, depending on how big your first meal would have been. I'm currently at about 2,000 calories a day. Sometimes I try to be a little bit below that, just because every once in a while I screw up on the weekend, so I try to kind of cushion that loss a little bit. And so far it's working. I'm doing a little bit of carb cycling. I'm experimenting with that. I'm keeping my protein up at about 200 grams of protein, and then carbs is that's the one thing that kind of goes up and down depending on, you know, whether I'm having a medium carb day or a low carb day or a high carb day. I'm also adjusting my fats a little bit between 40 grams and 60 grams based off of my carbs. So basically I'll switch those two up, a little bit higher fat, low carb, and a little bit higher carb and low fat. But the total ends up being about 2,000 calories a day. So far it's working out for me. I don't really want to switch from intermittent fasting anytime soon. What I'm able to do as a part of intermittent fasting is I'm able to, say for an example, you know, my first meal of the day, if I'm craving a bagel, excellent, let's go ahead and throw a bagel into the equation. But one thing I'm making sure is that, you know, it's a new approach that's called if it fits your macros, meaning you can eat anything as long as it fits your macros. So I'm making sure that that bagel is accounted for. So I'll just take my rice out of the equation. You know, if it's a high carb day, I won't have as much rice. I'll just put in a bagel in there, and I'll make sure, you know, whatever cream cheese or whatever I'm putting on there also fits into my macros. So far it's working out pretty good. I've gotten down to about 202, 203 currently. That's what I weigh. Eventually my goal is to, and I'm also about 20, probably anywhere between 20 and 25% body fat. That's kind of what I've seen from different, you know, body composition analysis tests. And I'm eventually trying to get down to about 14 to 16. That's where I look like I'm pretty lean. That's where my six-pack's showing. The eventual goal is maybe one day to do like a physique show. I just want to continue to put on lots of muscle. I feel like I've done pretty good at building up my arms. My shoulders are okay. One thing that I'm currently trying to work on a lot is my chest. I've made pretty good gains so far in these last 10 months since I really started taking fitness a lot more seriously, and I just kind of want to keep building on that. And so I think this can pretty much conclude my first vlog. If you guys have any feedback, any questions, whatever, just let me know, and hopefully I can answer them. I'm sure nobody's gonna have any questions, so there's not gonna be anything to answer because you guys probably don't care. But one day if I'm famous, maybe you guys will care. Okay, I'm just kidding. I'm not really trying to get famous. I just kind of want to document my process and maybe help somebody out so they know what I'm doing, and if it's working they can learn from it, and if it's not working they can learn from that too. So I hope you guys have a good day, and I'll see you for my vlog number 2. Hopefully, I don't know, maybe once a week, twice a week. I don't know. I'll just kind of do it by the flow and see what works. Bye guys.